Welcome back, all you amazing beings of the universe. It's the Nerdy Stepdad coming at you today with the safe characters to farm in the early game in this new Lightspeed token world we find ourselves in. The Nerd Herd awaits. Like, subscribe. Let's conquer this galaxy together. So I've had a lot of people in the guild that are asking what they should farm early, especially with the new Lightspeed tokens that are set to come out, and they obviously don't want to be wasting resources on characters that are going to get Lightspeed tokens, which makes sense. So, what are some really good characters that we can be farming that won't be getting Lightspeed tokens that we're aware of? It's CG, they could throw us a curveball at any time. Who knows? So first, let's just talk about characters that we can be farming in the cantina right out of the gate. The ones I think are most important for us to be focusing on that we won't be getting in light side tokens. And the first one, as you can see here, is Padawan Obi-Wan. He is right here on 3D. You either want to get him or you want to get Master Qui-Gon, who is on 4F. I decide to go with Padawan Obi-Wan because he does more damage, and in the early game, you're really, especially light side, you're just really lacking on damage, so I feel like Padawan is better way to go. And then I will be giving Master Qui-Gon my Jedi faction token when that comes out. So that's why I'm going with him. The second one that we had on our little graph here would be Geo Brood Alpha. He is all the way on 8D. So he might not be available right away, but as soon as you hit level 85 and you get this open and you 3-star it, probably with somebody's help from ally help, you'll want to start getting this one up. He is one of the most powerful early game characters. He really makes the Geo team go. And the unit he summons is amazing, and he does a lot of damage for a tank. So all around a great character, and definitely one that you want to get early. Excuse me. Another good one to farm early is the TIE Fighter pilot. And while the character himself doesn't really play on any team, you do need to have 5 dark side ships in order to open up Zetas. And so this is one node where you're getting the pilot and the ship. And that's one of the reasons that we really want to go ahead and grab that. We want to make sure that we get those and really focus on those ships early. So that's a great node to look at early. And then the last one that I'm recommending here early anyway is going to be Chief Chirpa on 5D. And the reason that we're wanting him is we really want that Ewok team up and running, and he's a really big part of that. We really need him. He's the leader of the team. And so even early when we're just going for 3PO before we start relicking any Ewoks, we do have to have him farmed. And so that's why I suggest to do him early. After that, just find some characters that aren't going to be light side token characters and feel free to start farming them up. Like, you don't want to do Luke because he's a light speed token. You don't want to do Old Ben because he's a light speed token, but you do have Geo Soldier here if you're not wanting to use currencies. He could be got right there with Katina. I didn't put it on the graph, but this is also a good node to have if you're going with the layer rush, because you will need Lando and Lobot, and they're both right here on 1E. But if you're not doing a layer rush, probably skip that one because you're not really going to use those characters in any teams right away. Next, we're going to go into our regular energy farms. And while you don't have to do this necessarily get them to 7-star in order, you need to be working on these in every day in order at least. And the first is going to be trying to get that Houndstooth. It's very important. He's on light side 8D. It's just the best ship in the game, and you really need him. In order for that to be worthwhile, you do need to get Bosk up. Even though we're going to get him as a Lightspeed token, I still think it's worth it to go ahead and get him up earlier, just because of the Houndstooth. And you can find him on Dark Side 9B. After that, we have Piet. Piet is what helps really make the Imperial Trooper team go, especially once he gets his Emperor's Trap Zeta. He gives the buff every time somebody goes that's on Empire, and so he's really important to get up and going. He's on 6B light side. The leader of the Imperial Trooper team is General Veers, and he's what gives the turn meter. So Piet is what gives the buffs that gets the train meter moving. The one that allows the turn meter is Veers, and he's on 4C. You also want Dark Trooper because he's your damage in the Imperial Trooper team. And he is on 1C light side. I like to go Range Trooper even early. I think he's well worth it and a very good character to have. And you can find him on 3A Dark Side. Moff Gideon can really help that team as well. If you're going to go with Colonel Stark, you don't want Moff Gideon. If you're not going Colonel Stark, you want Moff Gideon. It's one or the other. So if you're going Moff Gideon, he's light side 2D. I do think Moff Gideon is the better character, but I do think that Colonel Stark is easier to get in gear, but I think Moff is better long term. We also have our Ewoks there, Princess Nisa. She's the damage dealer that really makes that team go. You'll find her on 5C light side. And then Wicket, who's another damage dealer for that team, is on dark side 8A. And if you're rushing Profundity, you'll need Admiral Radis. Now, if you're not rushing Profundity, you don't need Admiral Radis. So that really comes down to if you're doing the Profundity rush or not. If you are, he's on 4A dark side. Now, obviously, without refreshes, you're not going to get to every single one of these characters every day. I would focus on the Houndstooth, Bosk, and then Piet and Veers. Make sure you get those minimum every day, and then try to get the rest as you can. Once you finish Bosk and Admiral Piet, and Veers, which should be done before some of the others, definitely before Houndstooth, just move down your list into the next one, into the next one. And when you're getting ready to be done with those, make sure you have other characters lined up ready to go. At that point, you should have a better feel for the game and know what Lightspeed tokens are coming and what aren't, and what you're wanting to farm. But this is a good start for you. Now, ship energy. What do we want to be farming? Ships, obviously, with the ship energy. But there is a character in there we're also going to get because he's on a ship farm. But the first one I suggest you do, once again, this is just so we can get those Zetas in that challenge every week. We want to get the Slave 1, which is Boba Fett's ship, which is on 2B. And then along with the TIE Fighter, which we should be doing with Cantina Energy, with the TIE Fighter pilot, and Darth Vader's TIE Fighter Advance, which you get primarily through quests. So that will be 3. And then the Houndstooth, TIE Fighter Advance, Slave 1, and then you'll need one more dark side ship. A lot of people do Kylo Ren's because it's on one Cantina farm, or another one of the bounty hunter ships. But for now, the Slave 1, we need it. And then after that, I said go ahead and farm Kyle Katarn and the Raven's Claw because they really help the Home 1 fleet get going. You also probably want to farm with excess energy. I wouldn't focus on it, but when you have a little bit extra, it's one of the cheaper ones. Go with Anakin's ETA. It can help light side early. And until you get some of the later rounds open, it's going to be the only one you can farm just because the others along that first page aren't necessarily characters or ships we want to farm right away. Marin is good, but we're probably not going Night Sisters right away. Athano, we're not going to go right away. So, and then the other ships, well, I mean, eventually we'll get them. They're not priorities. We also want to get the Outrider because we're going to need that for Jabba and for our Profundity. If you're going Profundity Rush, if you're not going Profundity Rush, you're still going to need to focus on getting that ship up because you do need it for Jabba, which most people will get after Leia, so you don't want to miss it. And then the Marauder, which is a great ship with the Bad Batch, and it really helps the Negotiators fleet. This isn't something that I'm saying early game is a necessity because you're probably not going to have the Bad Batch right away. But as you're starting to leave early game and starting to enter mid game, like early mid game, you're going to start to get those clones up and you'll want the Marauder because it really helps that Negotiator fleet. So it is something to keep in mind. Ships typically take 6 months to farm from 0 to 7 stars. So you do want to start your ships well in advance of character farms when you're going for something in particular. Now that we have the energies out of the way, let's go talk about the different stores that we are going to also be getting character shards out of. The first we'll go into is the Cantina store. Here, I'm suggesting you go with the original Qui-Gon Jinn early, probably first. Because along with doing Padawan Obi-Wan, you can pair him with this Qui-Gon Jinn here, and you can do the Qui-Gon Jinn Obi-Wan assault battle. You're not going to be able to beat the higher tiers with it, but this will at least get you some early viability in the first few rounds of that assault battle, and it will help get you credits. And so definitely a good idea. Also, this Qui-Gon, once you get him to 7, get him geared up and you can get his Omicron on him, it's a really strong early GHC team, so it's worth it for sure to get him. After that, if you're going Profundity, you will want to get Viston and Cassian's Ewing. If you're not going Profundity, then you can go right into Boba Fett. Yes, we're getting a Lightspeed token for Boba Fett. My personal opinion for Credit Heist and for the Zeta event, we're going to want to get Boba Fett up. I'm not saying you want to take him to Relics or anything before you get that. I would maybe park him at gear 10 or 11 would be enough to get all that done and make the ship viable. And then that way you're still saving those gear 12 pieces when you get the Lightspeed token, so you're not using those. But at least get him up a little bit. Go ahead and get him 7 stars. It is going to be worth it to go ahead and do that early. If you're going to build a Night Sister team, Old Daka is here as well, which is a good shout. Once you get all that done, you can start on some of the 501st people. Eventually you'll get all these characters 7-starred with your Cantina energy, and then you'll get Cassian's Ewing. And then when all of the characters are done and the Cassian's Ewing is done, you'll just buy Cassian's Ewing after that, and you'll just convert it into shard shop currency. So that's really what you do with this store. You will eventually just 7-star everything in here, but you definitely want to start with Qui-Gon, Boba Fett, and if you're rushing Profundity, Biston, and Cassian G-Wing. So just avoid like Chopper, who's going to get a Lightspeed token, Snips, who's going to get a Lightspeed token. In my opinion, I mean, listen, it's your game. If Snips from the Clone Wars is your favorite character and you want to level her and you want to get her up to 7-star and you don't want to wait for the Lightspeed token, like that's fine. Go ahead and do that. It's your game. Make sure you're having fun. This advice is just what I think is most optimal, but it doesn't mean it's what you have to do. This is just how I think would be best served in terms of your gear long term and the account overall long term. But once again, it is a game. Make sure you're having fun. Don't wait on characters that will make you happy and enjoy the game because a content creator told you not to. Don't necessarily follow our farming path. Is that if that doesn't excite you, make your own. But once again, this is just for optimal purposes. I think that is the way to go there. After that, we're going to move into the guild activity store. This one I broke up into kind of tiers, as you can see here on the graphic. The first tier is Wampa, Hermit Yoda, and Rolo. Our second tier is Han, General Kenobi, Traya, and then everything else is together after that as like one tier. So it's the first three, the second three, and then everything else. And I'm about to show you what I mean by that and why I have it broke down that way in the game screen. So here in our guild activity store, when you scroll down, you're going to have the option with Mark II to buy Hermit Yoda, Wampa, and Rolo. I would start with Wampa. You want to get Wampa up and rolling because it's a one-man team. She is a one-man team. And it's very, very important, I think, for early GAC to have Wampa up and running because she can really help clear teams that you're otherwise not going to be able to clear. It's one character. It's one relic. It's a cheap team that is a team that can take out whole 5-person teams, 5-character teams. Like, she is her is the queen, and the queen is Wampa. Like, that's just all there is to it. So that's first. You definitely want her first. Hermit, Yoda, and Rolo, it's really up to you. You should be getting some Rolo shards like I am through your territory battles. And so you should be able to get some of those shards through there. Just because of that, while your guild is running Lightside Hoth, maybe don't be farming her up. Do Wampa first, and then Hermit Yoda, and then Rolo. But if you're in a guild that is already en route and you still need Rolo, I might go Wampa, Rolo, then Hermit Yoda. Only because you need Rolo for Leia. You don't have to have Hermit Yoda for Leia. You still want Hermit Yoda. He is needed, I think, for a few farms later on down the line for unlocking Jedi Knight Luke, I'm pretty sure. And so you still have to have Hermit Yoda at some point, and he's an important character. But yeah, Wampa first, Rolo, Hermit Yoda. If you guys are running Lightside Hoth, Wampa, Hermit Yoda, and then finish up Rolo if you're not finished up with just your territory battles. Then when you scroll down a little bit further, you have more characters. You have a bunch that are for 200 Mark 1 tokens, and then you have 3 that are worth 700 Mark 1 tokens. The 3 that are worth 700 are Han Solo, General Kenobi, and Darth Vader. These were raid rewards back in the day, the OG raid rewards. And you just want to go in order. You want Han, you want to get Han to 7 stars. Then you want to get General Kenobi to 7 stars. You want to get Darth Traya to 7 stars. Now, I'm not saying don't farm some of these 200s while you're farming these 700s. I'm saying for the 700s, Han first, then General Kenobi, then Darth Traya. You can be sprinkling in other farms. With this as well. You can be you know, throwing in an Ewok Elder and a Pablo, or your First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot and the TIE Fighter. If you're really needing that 5th ship, dark side ship, you can do that here. So some of those characters that we were saying that we want, though, in the 200 Mark 1 range, we're going to want Colonel Stark if you're not going with Moff Gideon. If you're going with Moff Gideon, you probably don't need Colonel Stark. Jen, if you're doing a Profundity Rush. Pablo, you're going to need as part of your Ewok team that unlocks 3PO. Elder is part of that team, which unlocks 3PO, and he's like the turn engine train, so he's probably the most important character on the team, other than Princess Nisa. And then Sunfuck for the Geos is right here, and you'll want to get him as well. Eventually, you will get all of these 7-starred. Those are just the ones I would focus on first. If you were to hard press me and say, what do you do after that? I would say probably work on your 501st your 501st clones, and your Separatist droids, your IG and your B2, just because those will help lead you into gas eventually. So you're going to need both. One for the gas team and one to unlock General Anakin, but that is down the line. But if you're hard pressing me to say after what I have on that graphic, those would be the next ones. I just didn't put them on the graphic. So after that, we have the Squad Arena store. You get the Squad Arena tokens based on your rank in Squad Arena. You want to shoot for being in the top 1,000 once you get a full team up and running, because then you'll be getting at least 400 tokens a day, so you can get one token or one character a day. The first one there you want to get is Kanan Jarrus. You're going to be getting the rest of the Phoenix with the Lightspeed tokens that are coming out. So you want to get Kanan up and running with them ASAP. He will take Ezra's place, which we are getting as a Lightspeed token, but he's not on the Phoenix team long term. You need Kanan. He's really important because he helps with the retaliating attacks. So once you get done with him, as you see, I just finished him up today, actually, like right as I was recording this. I got that, and I will take him to 7 stars once I have the credits to do so. So who do we want after him? We're going to want Savage and Tarkin. And if you are doing Rogue One, Cassian. So, but you definitely want to go in that order. We do want Savage. He can be a one-man team in early GAC, and then he slides into the Traya team, and so he's a very important part of the early game for everybody. He's super strong character, and he's really hard to deal with, so he's definitely the second one you want to get out of the store. Tarkin is great for his capital ship as well as Order 66 raid, so you do want to start getting him up, especially if your guild is planning to go to the Order 66 raid. He can solo early tiers, and then Cassian for your Rogue One team. You'll be getting Mace as a light side token, Leia as the lightspeed token, Akbar is a lightspeed token. Asajj Ventress after that probably would be your best bet. IG is a lightspeed token, so really a lot of lightspeed tokens are going to be in here. When you get done with all of these characters, I typically either I just start to get the prestige. You're always going to need prestige. So when you get all the characters done, shard all the characters, even, of course, Underworld Police. But once you're done having all 7 stars of these characters, I'm not saying you have to gear them up or anything. You just have them ready. You don't even have to, like, activate them. Just have the 330 shards ready to go. And in the second star, I wouldn't even use the tokens on Cup, because you'll eventually get him just through your Bronzium data cards. He's a character that pops through with these a lot, so I wouldn't even use him in that if now that I think about it. Probably the same thing with Ugnaught. I wouldn't get him in here. I just naturally get him through those tokens. Everybody else is worth getting to 7 stars, and then start just getting prestige. You're never, until you max out all of your capital ships, you're going to need prestige, and even then you want to hoard a bunch for whenever the next capital ship comes out in the future. We don't know when that is. If it is, probably will be one day, so it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. After that, we will have the Galactic War store. And then in this store, we're doing Tarkin and Poplo, and then Poggle and K2SO if you're doing a profundity rush. So K2SO, Tarkin, Poggle, Poplo. After that, it is really up to you. If you are going to do a Night Sister team, you can get Zombie and Spirit right here. They're both really good characters for that team. If you're going to go for Slicker, then you can get Hux and Phasma in this store. So a couple places to get some first order characters. Once you do get all of these characters 7-starred over time, you'll just be buying the ships after you get all the 7, everything's done. Like I have all the ships done in my main account and all the characters. I just get the ships every day and turn it into shard shop currency. So that's what this store becomes in game, but mid game or early game and mid game, it's really a good place to get early shards for characters. Now, after the Squad Arena, Galactic War store, we have the Fleet Arena store. Now, I've touched on this in the past with this Fleet Arena store. You really want to make sure you have a little bit of an over a storage. Like you want to have a little bit of savings here because Razor Crest pops up here every once in a while. Not very often, just every once in a while. Every time Razor Crest pops up, you want to buy it. Down here, Spy will pop up. This is the only place to get Spy in game, so anytime you see Geo Spy pop up, buy them. Same thing with Plo Koon. Plo Koon only pops up here. When he pops up, you want to buy him. Now, once you have, so you have that surplus, so if they pop up, you can get them. Once you have a surplus of, I would say about, oh yeah, and then Grievous, where Akbar is, sorry. Grievous is one that pops up. You always want to buy him. When he pops up right here. So you want to make sure you have at least 1,600 energy saved up in case all 4 show up at one time so you can buy them all. I try to double that because I do check this every time it refreshes. I have alarms set. And so when it refreshes, I come in and see, and that way if they show up somehow twice in a day, I will have the funds to cover it. Now once my next Fleet Arena payout comes out, I'll be able to buy some other stuff. And then I'm just picky and choosy on which ships to get early. I'm not really worried about any of the other characters. I'll be able to get them elsewhere. But I'll start farming ship shards. That's how I've got Spy already a little bit, Imperial TIE Fighter a little bit. So it's a good way to supplement your ship farming. But the main thing is those 4 characters, Razor Crest, Grievous, Plo Koon, and Geospy. That's the only place they show up in game to farm. And so you want to buy them every single time you have them. You want to make sure you have a bit of a savings saved up so when they pop up, you're not going to miss them because you don't have any tokens. Then last but not least, we have the Guild event store. Now, some of these characters were already going to be farming. Others were not. So the Malevolence and the Negotiator, pick one and farm it to 7 stars. I don't care which one. A lot of people go Negotiator for their light side fleet. And then they will go, they rush Executor. And so they'll have Executor and Negotiator as their 2 main capital ships early. I am probably going to rush the Malevolence because I'm rushing Profundity, and that will be my dark side ship. That will be my light side ship. That's why I'm going that direction. So I will be also farming the Geo ships and then the pilotless ships, the Vulture Droid and the Vulture Bomber. So one of those, you don't ever want to buy really this with your tier 3. It's really expensive. You should be getting probably your Chirotech here or your micro attenuators. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. Then with your Mark 1 currency, or your Mark 2 currency, Mark 2 Gilded Mint currency, you should typically be getting, once again, your Cairo here. But if you're like really close to unlocking Rolo, or you're really close to 7-starring her, you could drop a little bit of that right here to get her. And then your Mark 1s early, you can get Hermit and Wampa just to speed up those farms. Which are also, as we saw earlier, getting those in the guild activity store. It just helps you get those characters a little bit faster. So all of these characters are safe to farm in the early game. You're not, that we know of, we're not getting light side tokens for any of these. And so they'll be very beneficial. All of these characters will be very beneficial to your account. They will really help your account grow strong and help with the Leia rush that we have going on as the farming path. And not even necessarily a rush, but each, like the Imperial Trooper team isn't needed for Leia, but it's an assault battle team. It's a good early team. The Geos aren't needed for Leia, but they're a good early game GAC team. They're a good territory early team. And most guilds are going to want you to be Geo ready to get Watt shards in the Darkside Geonosian territory battle. We had you getting the Poncho Brothers so that you can do that assault battle. So a lot of this is assault battle farming, and then a lot of it is helping you get ready for whichever capital ship you're going towards and the Leia rush. So these are the characters I think are the safest to farm and the best to farm early. But once again, as we've talked, if you're following a different farming guide or you're following a different path, and maybe you're going Lord Vader first, and so you'll need the 501st earlier, and you'll need the Separatist droids earlier. Like, you can get those. Like, just replace those with characters here. That's fine. Play the game how you want to play. This is just what I think is the most optimal way to be farming here early if you're going for Galactic Legend Leia, which is how we have it set up here on this channel. And in my beginner guild, it's kind of what I'm suggesting most people go towards because I think it's going to be the best. With that being said, I want to thank all of you Nerd Herd for being here and listening to me spill about these tunes. I hope you all learned something and have gathered some good ideas on some characters and ships to be farming early here that are safe to go after without spending too much time, energy on those Lightspeed token characters. This has been your nerdy stepdad, and shout out to my Bantha brothers. Good luck in your territory battles, territory wars, GACs, and to everybody, may the Force be with you.
Where are you going, nerdy?
For a nap.